Let's bring in the business news. Stephen Carroll's joining us on set. And Stephen, the pandemic's been good, hasn't it, for some companies? One of them is Apple.
That's right, the iPhone maker saw record earnings for the last 3 months of 2020, topping off a bumper year for the company, where sales were boosted by more people working and studying from home. For the first time in Apple's history, its quarterly revenues topped $100 billion, up by a fifth. That boosted profits as well to just under $29 billion for that 3-month period. Sales of the iPhone, which is the company's biggest earner, jumped by 17% compared to the same period last year. A major jump too in sales of the iPad, which had been flagging in recent years. And things that Apple calls wearables, which include the Apple Watch and AirPods, saw a jump in sales as well. Now, interestingly, the company didn't give any guidance on what it's expecting for the first 3 months of 2021, citing uncertainty over the pandemic.
Now, Stephen's great at explaining this next story because he's done it before and I understood it. The latest on the stock market saga. This is involving the retailer GameStop.
True. So this is the online forum where amateur traders have been whipping up support for GameStop, which is a video game retailer, and several other companies. It was made private for a few hours late on Wednesday, which led to the company's shares plunging. The Reddit thread is now back open again, but it gives you just an idea of how volatile shares in these firms have become because of this battle between day traders using Reddit and other forums and Wall Street hedge funds on the other side who had bet against GameStop's fortunes. Now, those amateur traders have been furiously buying shares, driving up prices and inflicting heavy losses on the short-selling funds. Those funds are now said to be scaling back their investments after recording losses totaling billions of dollars. This is not over, by the way. There are still other companies' shares we're seeing move all over the place because of this rush of traders to try and support certain companies.
OK, well, keep explaining it to us. Thanks, Stephen. Markets then, what's happening?
Well, more broadly on the European markets, we've got pretty sharp falls actually at the open, and that follows on from a bruising session on Wall Street on Wednesday. London, Paris and Frankfurt all firmly in the red at the start of trading today. Falls too across Asia earlier in share markets there. In South Korea, shares in Samsung are down. That's despite the company reporting a jump in profits. Like Apple, they saw profits up by more than a quarter in the last 3 months of 2020, but investors had been expecting more from them.
Now here to France, a deal with an Italian company. This was to buy part of the shipyards on the Atlantic coast. It's fallen through there, hasn't it?
Yeah, the shipyard in Saint-Nazaire is a major constructor of cruise ships, among other things, and the pandemic's effect on tourism, plus competition law concerns from the European Commission, have sunk an agreement that was brokered by the French and Italian governments for the shipyard. The French state had nationalised the business in 2017 after its previous owner went bust. Catherine Viette has the story.
Despite being extended 5 times, in the end, the deal was not to be. France and Italy have called it quits on a partnership to operate French shipyard Chantiers de l'Atlantique. The French government took over as the majority shareholder of the shipyard after its previous owner, South Korea's STX, went bankrupt in 2016. The proposed deal was for Italian firm Fincantieri to take a 51% stake. In a joint statement, both countries acknowledged that the current economic context does not allow the tie-up between the Chantiers de l'Atlantique and Fincantieri to be pursued. The coronavirus pandemic has brought the cruise industry to a standstill, but that's not the only reason the deal fell through. There were big hurdles from the start, including a failure to gain EU antitrust approval. And the French government had concerns over Fincantieri's deal to build cruise ships with the China State Shipbuilding Corporation. Officials worried the Italian firm might transfer French technology to a Chinese partner. The French shipyard at Saint-Nazaire is known for making the world's largest cruise ship, but it also makes naval vessels and has been tasked with building a new aircraft carrier to replace France's flagship, Charles de Gaulle. Despite the setback, the shipyard has a full order book, which includes building 10 cruise ships over the next 5 years for MSC and Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines.
And finally from Stephen, a British energy company is looking at new ways to collect money that it's owed by the Indian government.
So Cairn Energy was awarded $1.2 billion by an international tribunal in December over a tax dispute with New Delhi. But the Indian government hasn't paid up yet, and now the company is threatening to seize assets belonging to the government to pay the bill. According to reports, that could include planes owned by the state airline Air India, as well as bank accounts that are held abroad. Could be pretty damaging for India's image as a place to do business if they having assets seized abroad to pay a bill.
Exactly, that could be a nasty one. We'll follow it for you. Thanks a lot, Stephen. Stephen with Business.